Today we are trading skyscrapers for sand dunes, red traffic lights for colorful sunsets, rush hour for outback silence, and city lights for starry nights.
So we just left Wagga Wagga, the first official stop of our longest road trip. In this one, we are covering 4,000 kilometers to explore South Australia. So comparing this distance, it would be like taking a road trip from Kashmir to Kanyakumari in India and crossing America from New York to Las Vegas. The plan is to reach the rugged beauty of Flinders Ranges, but first we are heading towards Mungo National Park, a place that we missed in our last Outback adventure.
Yesterday, we shut our laptops a little earlier than usual to kick off this epic journey. The bags were packed and the playlists were ready. With nearly 500 kilometers ahead of us, our first goal was to reach Wagga Wagga by night. 6 solid hours on the road, 1 coffee stop, and a whole lot of playlist debate later. We rolled into Wagga Wagga, a riverside town with a chilled-out vibe that feels like the gateway to the Outback.
Our day started before sun did. With a coffee in hand and tires pointed west, we are heading towards Mungo National Park. This is where the trip starts to feel real. No more cities, no more phone signals, just a long, quiet road and an endless sky.
So today we are going to drive around 600 kilometers. We have already driven 200 and now we are going to take a stop to refuel our car and have some breakfast.
But we already have so much fuel. Why are you filling it more?
In Outback, it's always good to keep your tank full because you don't know when you will get your next servo.
That's a great tip, Swati.
We are having some Indian breakfast. This is called poha with some fruits, juices, and walnut cake.
Now it's time for me to take over the wheels. So we have covered almost 400 kilometers now. We are seeing that the flora and fauna has changed. There are no trees around. It's vacant land and straight road. Now we are driving over the lake, but if you see outside, it's not blue, it's all red. Seems nobody has told Google that the lakes have dried up many years ago. So Google, you need to make an update. There is no lake, there is only red sand and red dust of the Outback.
We have made it to the Mungo National Park. We are here for the guided sunset tour, which will take us near to the Mungo Lunet area. This area is very fragile, so taking a tour is the best possible way to explore this region. You can book this tour through NSW Park's website.
I'm Lance, and I'm going to be guide for this tour.
The visitor center is the starting point of the guided tour. There are around 6 to 8 cars ahead of us, and we are all following our guide's car, who is taking us to the starting point of the walls of China. As you can see, the road ahead is almost invisible. This is the red dust from all the cars that are ahead of us. Before our shoes get red, we have to fit to the terrain.
So where you're standing in Mungo Lakes. So 18,000 years ago was the last time this lake had water in it. So where Red Top Look is over there to my far left, to the dunes you see right over there to my far right, you're looking about 30 kilometres long.
So we are taking a short walk up close to the dunes. This area is restricted and can be reached only through the guided tour. Our guide is amazing, very knowledgeable and passionate. He knows a lot about the history of this place and has quite a lot of interesting stories to share. He told us how this place used to be a lively lake thousands of years ago, and how the lunet slayers held not just bones, but traces of campfires, tools, and even ancient footprints, frozen in time. We also learnt about the discovery of 40,000 years old Mungo man and Mungo lady's remains. It's amazing. We have never seen any landscape like this. Feels like we have landed on another planet, probably Mars or Moon.
Walking in Mungo feels like landing on another planet. This isn't just any stretch of desert. It's one of the most ancient and significant landscapes on Earth. It's home to the iconic Mungo Lunate, also called the Walls of China, holding 50,000 years of Aboriginal history. Standing on those dunes with the wind in your face and the sun casting long shadows, you can't help but feel the presence of deep time. It's silent, powerful, and surreal, like nature's own museum. As the sun goes down, the colors become much brighter. And this wind, hard to believe, it's been shaping this land for thousands of years. Who knew a dried up lake could be this rich in history? Mungo gave us Martian landscapes, ancient footprints, and a crash course in Aussie history. This was not just a stop on our road trip. It was a humbling reminder of how ancient and alive this land truly is, and how little we know about it.
After finishing at Mungo, we headed to Mildura for dinner and then spent the night in Wentworth. The next morning, we hit the road early to cross the South Australian border. We are entering South Australia. South Australia? Victoria. But first, a quick stop at the border checkpoint. South Australia has strict quarantine rules. No fruits or veggies allowed in, and every vehicle gets checked. So next time, eat your fruits before the border.